Dear leftist media, you're gonna get sued. Hey, it's Prince of Queens, and I want to first give a brief shout out to Matt Christensen, aka Skag3, in regards to his video entitled Trump-Inspired Harassment Hoaxes, a Case Study. He just reached 30,000 subs, so check him out, he's quite good. In the video, he explains in detail the great amount of deception going on in terms of hate crime hoaxes, and a false narrative of exaggerated fear that has been peddled not just by leftist media, but by citizens themselves, and even groups like the Southern Poverty Law Center, which, if you haven't learned not to take seriously by now, you should look into some videos about how far the Southern Poverty Law Center has gone down the tubes. Now, I want to make it abundantly clear that I don't just think that all of this, the sky is falling, Trump was elected nonsense is inherently destructive by itself, which I do. I think that's very destructive, but I will take it a step further than that. It's going to be potentially disastrous and very ugly if he were to increase the libel laws for journalists and other published authors in the way that he described. He basically said that he wants to make it more easy to come after journalists who write bad things about people, presumably people like himself and his cabinets. So, take this article by Lindy West, for example. She's basically calling thousands of people Nazis simply because they are associated with the label alt-right. This is not only careless and fear-mongering to a ridiculous degree, but what happens if these people end up in Trump's cabinet? Do you think that he's going to just allow Lindy West, the fat, positive, career feminist with basically zero actual journalistic qualifications, who has published several heinously bigoted articles advocating against freedom of speech and attempting to normalize the cultural hatred of men? She just search her articles on Jezebel and The Guardian. Basically, all of them makes you want to, reach through the computer and throw a drink on her or something and just tell her to wake up out of her insanity. Do you legitimately believe Trump is going to just allow this person to continue to call his staff Nazis because of some stupid rumors? If Lindy West keeps this up, she's going to get sued, if it isn't already too late for her. And truthfully, unless she publishes a retraction saying that perhaps calling members of Trump's cabinet white supremacist, Jewish genocide, throw gays into the oven, madmen, perhaps that wasn't a good idea. She should maybe admit that. Unless she publishes a retraction, I won't feel particularly sorry for Lindy West if she gets sued, because truthfully, she's had many opportunities to change her tune over the years, as she's been confronted repeatedly with compelling arguments about why her views are kind of messed up, but she generally just blocks people on social media who disagree with her and doubles down. Check out her lose a debate to Jim Norton, for example, about comedy, if you want to see her being confronted with good ideas and arguments. Obviously, his words fell on deaf ears. You can check out footage of the debate on the channel, that is my friend's channel, Wrecked SJW Videos. Regardless, what sucks about this the most is that although I personally wouldn't really mind if Lindy West somehow got sued for reckless and erroneous opinion journalism, because I kind of think calling people who obviously aren't Nazis in giant publications like The Guardian is a pretty bad thing to do on many levels. The most irritating part about Lindy West potentially being sued is that she will undoubtedly receive an overwhelming outpouring of support from her friends, fans, and then she'll probably become a huge, no pun intended, celebrity due to the controversy of Trump following through with his promises of increasing libel laws. Tons of people will use this as an excuse to say that Trump is now a book-burning Nazi, because they always wanted to think that Trump was a Nazi anyway, when really he's just suing an opinion blogger who was pro-censorship herself for accusing him of being a genocidal maniac in a world-renowned publication like The Guardian. That should have a consequence. Nobody will care whether or not she deserves to be sued. They'll just use it as an excuse to rally behind the feminist that they think the misogynist and fat-phobic patriarchy is trying to oppress. And they really won't care about the facts because they never do. Lindy West could be sued because they want to make an example out of somebody. But unless she serves time in prison, her legal fees and fines will undoubtedly be more than covered with the crowdfunding campaign they'll set up for her. So really, unless a lot of so-called journalists like herself get sued at once, she'll actually make out like a bandit, and the left will continue to play victim for all eternity, and she'll be a martyr or whatever, a saint, a hero, Saint Lindy, the fat, positive person that calls people Nazis because of rumors. Great. Okay, I'm not sure what to do about this. Just something to think about. Drop me a comment and stay tuned.